This one is something you could probably already guess. So we're talking a little bit about depreciation when it comes to smartphones here. This new report indicates that Android devices lose twice as much value as iPhones in their first year of ownership. And, you know, I used to be in a resale business and upgrade business and sort of like repair business for Apple products. So I was well versed in the resale market for Apple stuff, even back in the iPod and PowerBook days. Mm-hmm. So one of the reasons that I could even have that business was because of the value that was retained in Apple gear that I could buy, sell, trade, things like this.
Even the components inside.
Even the components. It goes all the way down to the components. And there's a lot of reasons. I mean, we can speculate why this is the case. Some people that are only exposed to the smartphone side of things assume that it has to do with the fact that the products themselves work longer or have greater longevity. But in reality, there's far more in play, including brand recognition, which is very helpful, a high ticket price to begin with. Like there's a luxury association with the brand. Even if you spend a lot of money on a Samsung device, for example, most people like the brand association with premium. It's just not on the same level. And then there's the variety thing. At least especially for a very long time, there wasn't nearly as many models on the Apple side. And so what that meant is they weren't making it all that easy in the budget sector. So one of the ways in which people could get a cheaper iPhone or a cheaper PowerBook or MacBook, because they have typically a higher entry price, would be to buy a used one, therefore driving up the used market. So this is me speculating on some of the factors that play in here. But there is also the piece which people will mention, which is the constant updates, like the fact that
support.
There's less guesswork involved in how long the device would be supported, and the customer service infrastructure, the fact that there's Apple stores. There's a place you can take a thing, even if it's used, and you can go see a physical person, and there's no other brand in the space that has a network like that in so many major cities. But anyway, we can look at some of the differences here. So Android flagships lose 33.62% of their value in the first year compared to iPhone at 16.7%. After 2 years, an Android phone's price drops 61.5% as compared to 35.7% for an iPhone. Notably, this data doesn't take limited time brand or carrier offers into account. So the other thing to mention is how often do these things go on sale and for how much? How quickly does the manufacturer of the device drop the price? Now, we've seen this with Samsung devices, plenty of other devices, where shortly after launch, you'll be able to catch a deal. iPhone's a little bit less so. So by not having to price them as aggressively because the marketplace isn't as competitive on iOS, like Apple, if you're in the iOS ecosystem, you have Apple to choose from. If you use an Android device, you can choose Samsung and whatever variety, Xiaomi and OnePlus. And did you need me to name a bunch of Android phones in case you forgot here, Will? So what I'm trying to get at here is if the price doesn't drop as rapidly, again, now you have more customers into the used market, keeping that value up because the initial value or the retail price is stuck to for a longer period of time. So here's a couple of comparisons in the article. Galaxy S20 down almost 35% compared to the iPhone 11, 12.8. S20 Plus goes down 30.5%. iPhone 11 Pro goes down 21.31%. And then the Ultra model went down 36%. That one had more value to lose in the first place. However, the Pro Max is only 15.96%. So it looks like the best value for cost of ownership, if you do upgrade on a frequent basis and you're going to be selling your device in a year or two, the standard new iPhone, the iPhone 11, and I presume the upcoming iPhone 12 are going to be your best bets as far as the opening cost and the amount of total depreciation over your time of ownership. And then on Samsung's side, it actually looks like the middle model is your best bet. The Plus, the S20 Plus, or in this case, it'll be the S21 Plus this time around. Also, to add to the mix, the Pixel series actually loses almost 40% of its value in a year. The Pixel 4 tops the overall charts with a negative 40.5% or $160 value depreciation.
Wow.
So, I don't know. It's something to keep in mind. A lot of this is going to be more or less important to you depending on how often you upgrade your phone. And and if you're an iOS user, I mean, there's not much you have to do. You just
buy the phone.
That's it. Like, you just buy the phone and sell it when you're like, see, the thing is, for me, I don't sell phones anymore, so this is not that significant to me. But I can see to a lot of users that this would be something to consider. And by the way, this data came from Bank My Sell, a site that tracks trade-in prices for devices.